And so, the final question I have is basically, because, we saw a lot of Jukebox and Famous in this episode as they were, getting ready for this big performance and everything. We saw that, Jukebox actually got some last minute nerves and everything, and Kanan was the one to kind of he made up with her because they fell out last week. Well, in the last episode, they fell out, and he kind of made up with her and kind of motivated her to get ready for the show and everything, which was a pretty touching scene. I really liked that part. And then we also saw that Nicole came all the way to the neighborhood to support her this week. After what happened in the last episode with her parents, being very angry with their relationship and everything. And then, as we mentioned earlier, Nicole was kind of around a lot of different types of people in this episode. And, those dudes from Brooklyn approached her. And then, Famous' sister kind of, she kind of helped her in that situation. But then Nicole was exposed to, some drugs, which she probably hasn't had before. She probably hasn't even smoked weed before. So, yeah, I wanted to ask you guys where you see this going next, the relationship between Nicole and Raquel, because we know that they can't go to Nicole's house now. So Nicole has to come and see Raquel if they're going to hang out. So where do you see this going next after what we saw in this episode? And who wants to go first? Dana? Go ahead, Dana.
Okay, so remember how they said Kanan was the first person to know that she was gay?
Mhm.
What if she tells him and he allows her to use the house when Raquel's not there? So that's how we find out that he was the one who knows, which meant that there was some kind of trust that was going on. We had that moment with them in the bathroom that was really sweet, with him, kind of talking her throughout the nerves, and she got on the stage and performed. He was very supportive. Then it was a small moment where like Nicole's like, "Yay, I love you," and on while she's watching whatchamaface Jukebox,
Yeah.
and so maybe he can sense something that was there, and he just knows. And so, it's kind of like a truce thing between them. He allows her to go use the house so they can go and meet and do things together. So, yeah, that could be one of those situations with that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that could very well be the case. And I do think also that there might be one time where they actually go to Raquel's house, and maybe Marvin comes home and sees something.
I
So
thought, I thought that was going to happen in this episode. He was there.
Yeah,
He
because
was there at
the
the house.
bus. I was like getting really nervous when they was on the bus together and they was just making out on the bus. I'm like, what's going on? So yeah.
yeah, but how about you, Richard? What do you think is going to happen with this relationship?
All right, so I'm apologize to everybody because I'm going to get a little dark here.
Oh,
Um, I think that in this episode, when you saw her, when she had that smoke that was obviously laced with maybe you could say crack, cocaine, whatever, I think this is the beginning of the downfall because, in a very Shakespearean way, it would be very ironic if that is what the case is because we know that whenever Jukebox, as we've known the character, and as she has said in a few episodes ago, when she needed to get money for she resorted to the stealing. She had said multiple times, I know what the family is into. I'm not into that stuff. I don't mess with any of that stuff, with the selling of the drugs, so on and so forth. So how ironic would it be that her first love ends up getting hooked on this stuff? And I don't know. It's a high possibility that she could OD. And if she does OD, that right there will be a very good explanation as to why Jukebox is such a hardened character on the regular Power show, because this is someone she cares about. Uh, for her to lose her to the very same thing that she has tried to stay away from, even though her family is in that business, that'd be very tragic. But it's something that I definitely think is possible now that they've introduced this, because from the very beginning, when she was getting close to Nicole, we were already speculating and wondering, so why isn't this character a part of her life in the future show? And just because something bad has happened, but it's a matter of what, because we thought, it could just be that she's just in the crosshairs whenever this war pops off between Unique and Raquel. Maybe she happens to be somewhere they happen to take her out, which is a possibility still. If you take the angle of somebody, however, getting hooked on drugs, that is a very dangerous angle to take, but it's also very tragic. You and I have seen this, Gary, on Snowfall with Melody, and how that character, the character that Franklin always cared about, this character and all this other stuff, then to see her get hooked on this and he's still selling it, it's a real messed up type of scenario. But I think that is a high possibility of how they take out that character. I don't want to see that happen because we've seen it a couple times in a couple different shows, but it definitely is the perfect way to describe why she is such a hardened person now. You can have her end up getting shot in a shootout between Unique and Raquel's, crew. That can happen also. But I think it's more tragic if it has to do with the drugs, because Jukebox has said, I don't do what my family does. I try to stay far away from that. So it'd be kind of messed up if that's what eventually ends up killing Nicole.
I want her to die in her arms.
Oh man, that'd be very sad to see.
It'll explain why she's a crooked cop. Well, I mean, what if she, somehow she gets the wrong batch from, I don't know, someone who I don't know, but I just think that if she dies in her arms, it plays up more dramatic. It's more traumatizing that way.
Yeah.
We know that she ends up becoming a crooked cop.
And you know what would be even worse is that if Unique became her supplier, that would make it even worse.
Whoa.
Because just imagine, because again, they have all the market control now. They're going to be paying Dean 20% more to supply to only them. So just imagine how messed up would it be if he and his boys became her supplier and they were the ones giving her drugs. That'll make it even more twisted.
And that's why she ends up becoming a crooked cop.
Yeah. That's
I do really want to see what makes her, go down that direction. I think it's going to be multiple things. Like the Nicole thing definitely could be one thing, and then I think that conversation she had with the lady cop, detective. I think that might lead somewhere too, So, but I do want to see what really makes her, go down that pathway to being a crooked cop. I want
to see that. I want to see that too. I just was going to say, though I hate to say it, the Nicole character is probably not going to survive, because this is the only character, when you think about it, that truly believes in her, pushes her to do, all the other stuff. Yeah, you can say that Lulu supported her when she got into the show, but Nicole is the only one that understands her and has been there for her since this show started, for the most part, from what we have seen. And she understands her because they have that bond, that they also are in a relationship. So that's why I say it definitely feels like that is going to contribute to her downfall. But like you both said about her making the turn to become a crooked cop, yeah, I believe that y'all had a very good point that the rest of that could be by the influence of those other characters. So we have to see how they bring it together.
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah, some great theories overall. I can't wait to see, what the people think also. So make sure you guys are all leaving your comments, liking the video, subscribing, sharing, and everything of that nature.